that it is being male or female, but in a social context, right? So, for example, and this is the example that used to be given by the World Health Organization. So, males, so that is the people that have, the sperm producers, in certain countries, being male is associated with smoking, because smoking is seen as masculine. And as a consequence of that, males are more likely to get lung cancer in those countries, okay? So that behaviour is the social construct and the social context that they're in, right? But the only people that socially constructed social context applies to is males, yeah? So that's what they mean when they say gender is socially constructed. It is the gender roles that they're referring to as socially constructed.
Audrey,
right?
That was said so beautifully.
I understand what you're saying, but I think I'm just gonna have to agree to disagree, because the way I was raised, it was always gender, man, woman, boy, girl, and then sex, male, female.
Hey, Oakley. Okay. Hey, I mean, which should also be, which is fine, Oakley. Then that would just be another definition that is used, because I hear a lot of people on TikTok say that. But so my way around this, so, and also that's the definition in law, Casey. It's male and female in a social context, right? So it doesn't mean that just because it's a social context and socially constructed, that males and females themselves are socially constructed, or that men and women are socially constructed. They're not. It's the circumstances around them.
This is where the problem is, Audrey, right? It's because people started to change the definition of gender. If we just go back to the Roman statute, which is written in international law, gender is the state of being male or female.
In a social context.
That is literally what it is.
Hey, Oakley, do you believe...
So when we're changing it, this is where people are getting the wiggle room to be like, yeah, I'm changing my gender, not my sex.
Right. Well, this is why, and this is my workaround.
In the new social construct, because I am the breadwinner of my family and I take care of everything, and my husband sits home. Am I a man then?
Yeah. So, and this is the thing as well. You can't choose your gender, right? Because gender roles are put on you by society. Okay. It doesn't matter what I say. If you live in a country that has FGM, you can say you're a boy all day long. You are still going to have FGM imposed upon you, right? Because you don't get to choose which gender roles are pushed onto you by society. That's the context that you're in, right? As a female or a male. I get round this whole problem of people using gender to mean all these different, completely contradictory things by just not using the word gender anymore. I just say sex or sex role, right? Because gender's just what is even the point when everyone's got a completely different definition of the word? We all know what man and woman are: adult human male, adult human female, right? We've all agreed on that. So does it matter what the word gender means? Envy.
For me, Audrey, growing up, I was very much a tomboy. I was climbing trees and riding my dirt bikes and hunting and fishing, and these days I feel like, as a little girl growing up, that was very much opposed to Barbies and I would rather play with trucks and in the mud. I may have been pushed towards, maybe she's a boy, but I'm not, that kind of thing. Just because I know those are more boy associated things to grow up doing, but obviously I'm not a boy.
Right.
But in today's society, it may have been pushed on me. I may have been confused about my identity if I were growing up now, just because I was a tomboy, and they may have pushed the ideology on me that the things I were doing were more masculine, and therefore I'm a male.
Right. Wait, big time. What were you gonna say?
I'm just gonna ask you, are you with the trans women are women statement?
No.
Oh,
No, hopefully it's
because
not.
I asked.
Hopefully, like we'll have like minor little differences, but nothing that you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
I always ask, you know, if a trans woman is a woman and an adult female is a woman, without physical characteristics, and saying a trans woman is a woman, how are they the same? And I try to get an answer, but it's no answer.
Can we see what the other people in the panel? Sorry, Casey, give me a second. Liberty, hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I've been listening since I guess your other account got taken down or whatever happened with that.
Yeah, you probably reported me, didn't you, Liberty?
Oh no, I'm on your side.
I'm only playing.
It was probably that one dude.
Yeah,
that was
you really
yelling at.
Did you hear him? He was all like,
yeah.
You can't tell me what a transgender is, but I'm going to sit here and tell you what a woman is. I was like, are you fucking...
That was horrible.
Oh, man. Sorry, Derek, hi. Hi, how are you?
Excuse any background noise, I'm actually here. I'm here in the yard with cattle, so whether they're roaring in the background, you'll have to excuse it.
No.
But yeah, just been kind of listening in, and while I think it was yourself was doing the explanation about gender and sex and how you go along and kind of identify or
what switch is what. The purpose, as regards legal, from the legal perspective of it, I think it needs to stay at male and female.
Yeah.
Because gender, you're bringing in identity, and nobody, no matter who you are, everyone's identity changes every second they live. For every second you live, you'll something that you'll incur with something in your environment that'll change your identity. So you and I could be speaking here now quite happily to one another. We meet in person, I go trip you up, suddenly you've gone from looking at me saying he was a nice guy, now he's a prick, look what he's after doing to me. Your identity, your definition of me, what you associate with me has totally changed, and thereby your identity has changed. And for every second we live, our identity changes in some way, shape or form. So gender, I think, is needed to go along and to allow people to associate themselves with a label as such, in that if a person sees themselves as being, for argument's sake, a man sees himself as being a woman trapped in a man's body, well then they have used the term gender to label themselves as being transsexual. Now that is not in itself, there's nothing wrong with that. The society has dragged negativity to the word transsexual. Now, legislation-wise, that's why I think it has to stay with male and sex, man and woman, or male and female. Because if you start bringing in human emotions into legal legislation, well then you've gone and opened a minefield that can be constantly changed every single second. A person can identify themselves as a transsexual, then identify themselves as not a transsexual. That person can identify themselves as a man, then identify themselves as a transsexual. Because it's constantly changing, you can't actually get a legal foothold on trying to pass anything if you go along and drag it back to emotions.
Yeah, so it's like gender is male or female, right? But then obviously we need the word woman and girl to differentiate between, children, and an adult woman, like an adult human female. Do you get what I mean? So
yeah, well, it's actually
there.
It's actually the reverse to what you're saying. I think sex is needed, not gender. Gender is needed for the emotions, and sex is needed for the biology. So if you're either a male or female biologically, and then you can be gender based on your emotions or based on what you identify as.
No, because then you're saying trans women can be women.
No. What I'm saying is women are trans can only be a trans person will always be whatever sex they were born as, whereas a gender is akin to a label as such. Now, without sounding negative, but it's akin to humans' feelings or emotions, not actual sex.
No, it describes the sex that you are. That's why when you fill out a form, like this is why, Oakley, when you fill out the form, it doesn't say gender, choose woman, man, boy, girl. They need to know male, female, that is it. But that's why it's written that way. Then we would use man, boy, to then differentiate whether it's an adult or a child.
Well, I mean, there's also forms that say like, say your gender identity and put intersex on it. I'm like, what? Identity? Like, huh?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. That's the sex is specifically biological, whereas the gender can be labeled. You're now identifying yourself as something using you're saying exactly as you said, the phrase gender identity. Now you're bringing in human emotions, humans.
Gender identity is not gender.
Yeah, Derek, I think I understand what you're trying to say, but I think the flaw is they're using gender for the identity. Like, it should be something else other than gender. Well, I think would be more synonymous to what you're trying to say, because you brought up a good point of it's like facts over feelings, or the feelings are changing things, and I think that's the bigger problem here. Is we're trying to they are trying to change laws, regulations, and other things solely based off of feelings, but I think that the flaw there, Derek, is by using gender. It needs to be something else because gender's already taken.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about the word gender. I care about the word woman, right? I'm quite happy never to use the word gender ever again. All I care is that we understand that a woman is an adult human female and that a girl is a juvenile human female. And as long as we understand that, then this gender stuff is neither here nor there, right?